All right, let's dive into the world of outdoor yoga today. We're not just talking about the how-to, but the why.
Yeah, you guys send over some amazing articles, about the benefits and some really cool scientific studies and even a few sequences to try. But I think what's most interesting here is how nature really transforms this practice.
Absolutely. So, I've definitely felt that shift myself, that feeling of being more grounded, more present when I'm practicing outdoors. But I'm curious, what's actually happening on a deeper level?
Well, you're already familiar with the power of yoga,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
It unites the mind, body, and spirit. Now, just imagine that, but amplified by nature.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely picture that.
Research indicates that just 20 minutes in nature can significantly lower cortisol levels, those pesky stress hormones that,
Hmm.
keep us on edge. It's like nature just hits the reset button for your entire system.
So that explains why I always feel so much lighter after a walk in the woods. But beyond stress reduction, what other mental benefits are there, when you're practicing yoga specifically outdoors?
Absolutely. There are tons. Studies have shown that exposure to natural environments can actually enhance cognitive function and attention span. Think of it as a natural boost for your brain power.
So we're talking stress reduction, better focus, and we're enjoying the outdoors. What's not to love?
Exactly.
But let's get physical for a moment.
hmm
What about some of the physical benefits that we can get from practicing outdoors?
Well, just think about uneven terrain that you encounter in nature. That variation, it really forces your body to work harder. It strengthens muscles that you wouldn't even engage in a studio.
That makes sense. Yeah, I've noticed my balance feels more challenged when I'm practicing on the beach, for example.
Exactly. You're engaging those stabilizing muscles, which improves your balance and proprioception.
Hold on, proprio what?
Proprioception, it's essentially your body's awareness of where it is in space. It's what allows you to, you know, move gracefully, coordinate your movements, and when you're practicing on uneven surfaces, that proprioceptive system is working overtime. It refines your balance and coordination.
So it's like a secret superpower I'm developing every time I practice outdoors.
Yeah, you could say that. And, you know, don't forget about the vitamin D boost you get from practicing in the sunlight. That's essential for bone health, mood regulation, so many things.
Okay, I am sold on the physical and mental benefits. But what about mindfulness? Does nature really enhance our ability to be present when we're practicing?
Of course. Think about it. The sights, the sounds, the smells of nature, they all draw us into the present moment. It's like a natural invitation to practice mindfulness.
I'm already imagining myself practicing by the ocean, feeling the cool breeze, listening to the waves crashing, breathing in the salty air.
That's just the beginning. We haven't even talked about the specific mindfulness techniques
Yeah.
that you can use to really deepen your connection with nature during your practice.
Okay, let's dive into that. What can our listeners do to make their outdoor yoga practice more mindful?
I think one of the most powerful techniques is breath awareness. By syncing our breath with the rhythms of nature, we can really tap into a deeper level of presence.
So if I'm practicing by the ocean, for example, I might try to match my inhales and exhales with the rhythm of the waves.
Exactly. Or you might try syncing your breath with the rustling leaves in a forest, or with the gentle sway of the trees. By attuning our breath to the natural world, we create a sense of harmony and connection.
That sounds incredibly grounding. What other breathwork techniques work well in an outdoor setting?
Visualizations are really powerful. Like imagine drawing energy up from the earth with each inhale, feeling a sense of stability and grounding. Or picture yourself releasing tension and stress with each exhale, letting it all go into the vastness of nature.
I love that imagery, drawing strength and support from the earth itself.
Exactly. And beyond breathwork, there are so many ways to engage our senses and deepen our mindfulness during an outdoor practice.
Okay, I'm ready to hear those. What else can we experiment with?
Well, one simple but effective technique is mindful observation. Take a moment to really notice the colors, the textures, the sounds around you. Observe the way the light dances on the leaves, the intricate patterns in the bark of a tree, or the delicate petals of a flower.
Yeah, I feel like we're often too busy to notice those things.
Exactly. And by bringing that awareness to our surroundings, we cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude and appreciation for the natural world.
And that can really shift our perspective, especially when we're feeling stressed.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that there's so much beauty and wonder in the world, even in the chaos.
For those who struggle with anxiety or feeling ungrounded, nature provides the perfect setting for practicing grounding techniques.
Okay. I'm always looking for ways to manage my anxiety. What kind of grounding techniques can we do out in nature?
One of the simplest is to literally connect with the earth. Stand with your feet planted on the ground. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the earth. And imagine roots growing down from your feet, anchoring you to the earth's energy.
I feel calmer already just picturing that.
Yeah, and the beauty is you can practice these techniques anywhere. A park, the ocean, even just standing barefoot in your backyard.
It's a good reminder that nature's healing power is always available to us, if we just take the time to tap into it.
And when you combine those grounding techniques with yoga postures and mindful breathing, you amplify those benefits. You create a really holistic experience.
So we're not just moving our bodies, we're cultivating a deeper connection with ourselves and with the natural world.
Exactly.
This deep dive is amazing. But before we move on, I want to touch on something practical. Finding that perfect outdoor space for practicing yoga can be daunting. Where do we even begin?
That's a great question. And it's one we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive. We'll discuss the different types of outdoor spaces, like parks, beaches, and forests, and hopefully help you discover the perfect spot for your needs.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we've covered some amazing mindfulness techniques. Now let's talk location. I'm ready to transform my backyard into a yoga oasis. But I'm also down to, venture out. What are some of your favorite spots for outdoor yoga?
Well, the beauty is you can practice almost anywhere. You mentioned your backyard. That's a fantastic option,
Mhm.
to create a private sanctuary. But you can also go to parks, beaches, forests. They each offer a different energy.
Okay, break it down for me. Let's start with parks.
Parks are great, especially for beginners. Easy to access, familiar, open spaces, greenery, sounds of nature. It's serene, especially if you can find a park with lots of trees, for shade. The downside is parks can get crowded, especially on the weekends. It might be hard to find a quiet corner, so maybe explore parks during off-peak hours or, look for less popular green spaces if you want a more secluded practice.
Okay, that's a good point. What about beaches? I've always loved the idea of practicing with the sound of waves crashing in the background.
Beaches are great. They offer a really unique and invigorating experience. Those rhythmic sounds of the ocean, they can really enhance your breath work and create a calming atmosphere. Plus, you know, the sand adds an extra challenge to your balance, works those core muscles.
That sounds incredible, but I'm guessing there are some things to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Just be mindful of the time of day. Beaches can get really hot during peak hours.
Mm.
And always check the tide schedule. You don't want to be surprised by a rising tide. Mid-sun salutation, maybe bring a beach umbrella or find a spot with some natural shade.
Noted. Now, what about forests? Forests have always kind of had this mystical appeal for me.
Oh yeah, forests are great. They offer a sense of tranquility and immersion. You really can't beat it. The cool shade, the fresh air, those earthy scents, it's perfect for mindfulness. You can really connect with the concept of forest bathing.
Yeah, I can already feel the stress melting away. But are there any practical considerations for practicing in a forest?
Just make sure you choose a clear, flat area with a soft forest floor. You don't want to be doing downward dog on pine cones. It's also wise to let someone know where you're going, especially if you're practicing alone.
Great advice. Now, I want to get a little adventurous. What about practicing in the mountains? I imagine the views alone would be inspiring.
The mountains are incredible. They offer breathtaking views, and the elevation can really enhance feelings of gratitude and awe. But remember, safety first. So, look for trails or lookout points that have flat areas, to set up your mat. And always let someone know your plans.
Okay, yeah. Safety is definitely top of mind, especially if I'm venturing out alone. So, any other essential safety considerations we should keep in mind?
You're right to prioritize safety. Always check the weather forecast. You don't want to get caught in a downpour or extreme heat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And be mindful of the time of day. Early mornings and late afternoons are much better. The temperatures are cooler, and the sunlight is softer.
Good point. So check the weather, choose the right time of day. Anything else?
Hydration is key, especially when you're outdoors. Bring plenty of water. You might even consider adding electrolytes to your drink if it's really hot out.
Okay, water bottle, check. What about hazards?
Yeah, it's always a good idea to scan your surroundings before you settle in. Watch out for uneven ground, thorny bushes, anything that could trip you up. And be mindful of insects or wildlife, especially in wooded areas.
Are there any natural ways to deter insects? I'm not a big fan of bug spray.
You could try using essential oil blends, like citronella or eucalyptus. They're known to repel insects. And wear light-colored clothing. It can make you less visible to mosquitoes.
All great tips. Now let's talk about creating a sacred space. I love that idea, but I'm not sure where to start.
Creating a sacred space outdoors. It's all about intentionality. It's about transforming a spot into a place that feels supportive and
Uh-huh.
inspiring.
I'm ready to get intentional, so where do I begin?
Before you even step onto your mat, take a moment to connect with the energy of the space. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, feel the earth beneath your feet. That helps ground you, and establish a sense of presence.
Yeah. It's like we're acknowledging the spirit of the place.
Exactly. Once you've made that connection, you can start personalizing the space.
Hmm.
Lay down your mat or a towel and consider adding natural elements that you connect with.
What kind of natural elements?
Think stones, flowers, shells, crystals, feathers, even pieces of driftwood. Anything that feels meaningful and inspiring, arrange them around your mat in a way that feels, visually appealing.
Yeah, like we're creating an altar.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of a grounding ritual.
Yeah.
Before you start moving, take a moment to connect with the earth.
Okay. I'm all about grounding rituals. What's your go-to?
One of my favorites is called the mountain meditation. You stand with your feet hip-width apart, and you feel the soles of your feet connecting to the earth. Imagine roots growing down from your feet, anchoring you like a mountain. This visualization can help cultivate a sense of stability and strength.
I love that. It's like we're tapping into an endless well of energy and support.
Exactly. And remember, creating a sacred space outdoors, it's personal,
Yeah.
and it evolves. You can experiment with different elements and rituals.
This is making me so excited to get outside. I feel like we've covered so much ground. Mindfulness techniques, choosing the perfect location, creating a sacred space. What else is there to explore?
Well, we've talked about the benefits of solo practice, but there's also something special about practicing with others, you know, in nature.
I bet it's like we're already connecting with ourselves through the practice, but then we're also connecting with others.
Exactly. There's this shared energy, this support that emerges. And nature's the perfect backdrop for cultivating that connection.
So we're talking community building, shared experiences, and a deeper connection to nature. It sounds amazing. Are there any specific benefits to group practice that we might not get when we're practicing solo?
Well, one of the biggest benefits is accountability. When we practice with others, we're more likely to show up, even when we don't feel like it. There's a sense of shared commitment.
Right. I'm much more likely to hit snooze if I'm practicing alone. But if I know I'm meeting friends, I'm going to get out of bed.
And beyond accountability, group practice offers opportunities for learning and growth that we might miss out on when we're solo.
Like what?
Well, we can learn from each other. We can observe different approaches to the poses. We can offer support and encouragement.
So it's like we're all students and teachers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the social aspect. Practicing outdoors with others, it can be a great way to connect with people and build community. You know, just enjoy each other's company in nature.
It sounds like the perfect blend of everything,
Yeah.
physical, mental, social well-being.
And it's all wrapped up in a nature package.
Okay, I'm picturing myself on a yoga retreat now, practicing amidst these towering redwoods.
It can be amazing. But even if you can't do a retreat, you can still create that sense of community by practicing with friends at a local park or even in your backyard.
Love that. So, are there any specific considerations for practicing in a group, outdoors?
Communication is key. Check in with each other about injuries or limitations
Hmm,
and be mindful of each other's space.
deep point.
And if you're in a public space, be mindful of noise levels
Hmm.
and try to find a spot away from other people. And as always, leave no trace.
Respect for ourselves, each other, and the environment sounds like a recipe for harmony.
Absolutely.
This has been so insightful. But before we move on to poses and sequences, there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about how nature enhances our practice, but what about the other way around? Can our practice actually benefit nature?
That's a great question. It really gets at the heart of this interconnectedness between ourselves and the natural world.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into that connection. How can we make sure our practice is reciprocal?
Well, one powerful way is through awareness. When we're practicing yoga outdoors, we're naturally more attuned to our surroundings. We notice the trees, the flowers, the waves.
Right, and that leads to deeper appreciation.
And that appreciation can inspire us to take action, to protect the environment. We might pick up trash, conserve water, support sustainable practices, even advocate for environmental policies.
Yeah, it's like our practice becomes a catalyst for change.
And it's not just about outward actions. Our inner state of being can also benefit nature.
How so?
Well, when we cultivate qualities like peace, compassion, and gratitude, through our practice, those qualities radiate outwards. They influence the energy around us.
So we're contributing to a more peaceful world.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And when we practice in nature, We amplify those positive vibes. It creates a ripple effect.
Love that.
And when we approach our practice with that intention, we create this synergy
Hmm.
between ourselves and nature.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired. But before we wrap up, are there any specific practices that can help us cultivate this sense of interconnectedness?
Absolutely. One of my favorites is gratitude.
Love it.
At the end of your practice, just sit quietly, reflect on the beauty around you, express gratitude for the trees, the flowers, the sunshine, the earth beneath you. You can do this silently or aloud.
It's a beautiful way to acknowledge nature's gifts.
Exactly. And as you express gratitude, visualize your positive energy flowing outwards,
Ugh,
nourishing everything around you.
I can feel it.
And beyond gratitude, you can also try incorporating some simple rituals.
Like what?
You could gather some leaves or flowers
Yeah.
and create a mandala on your mat as a symbol of your connection to nature. Or you could bring a small offering, like a piece of fruit, and leave it at the base of a tree.
Those are beautiful ideas.
These rituals, they remind us of our interconnectedness.
This has been such an inspiring exploration.
I'm glad to hear that.
So, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. As you embark on your outdoor yoga journey, consider this. How can you not only receive the gifts of nature, but also give back in a way that supports the environment?
That's a great question to consider.
It's an invitation to create a reciprocal relationship, one that benefits us and the planet.
Absolutely. And in the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore specific yoga poses and sequences that are perfect for practicing outdoors.
Okay, my yoga mat's calling my name. My intentions are set, and I'm so ready to get outside. But now I'm curious about the poses. Does being outdoors actually change the way we approach the poses or the sequences?
It's not necessarily about changing the poses themselves. It's more about adapting to the environment and
Oh.
the energy of the space.
Okay, so how can we do that?
Well, first, just tune into what you're feeling. How does the ground feel beneath your feet? Is it soft grass, warm sand, cool earth? Let those variations kind of guide your movements, challenge your balance, engage your core.
So instead of trying to be perfect, we're embracing the imperfections.
Exactly. Let go of any rigidity and flow with the natural rhythms.
I love that. Nature's our teacher. Are there any poses that are particularly well suited for practicing outdoors?
Sun salutations are great for warming up. Connecting with the energy of the sun. Imagine greeting the sun as it rises, feeling the warmth on your skin, drawing in the energy with every breath.
Oh, I can just imagine. I've always loved sun salutations, but I bet they feel so much more powerful outside.
Oh, absolutely. And standing poses, like tree pose or warrior poses. They can be even more grounding outdoors. Really feel your feet connecting with the earth, drawing strength and stability from the ground.
Yeah, we're literally rooting ourselves in the Earth's energy.
Exactly. And if you're practicing near a tree, you can even incorporate that into your practice. Maybe lean against the trunk for triangle pose, or put your hand on the bark for tree pose.
I love that.
It's a way to connect with the strength of the trees.
Now, what about poses that help us connect with that sense of expansiveness?
Back bends are great for that, like camel pose or wheel pose. They open up your heart and chest, allow you to breathe deeper, connect with that expansiveness. Imagine doing those poses under a wide open sky, feeling all those possibilities surrounding you.
It's like we're expanding our awareness to the whole universe.
Exactly. And don't forget inversions. Downward facing dog, headstand, they give you a new perspective. Turn your world upside down and really invite a shift.
I've always found inversions to be challenging.
Oh, yeah. But they're so invigorating.
And I imagine they're even more amazing when you're outdoors.
Definitely. When you're surrounded by the beauty of nature, those challenging poses can feel more accessible. Nature supports you, encourages you, reminds you to breathe, to trust, to surrender.
Nature is the ultimate yoga teacher.
It is.
But beyond the physical benefits, what about the mental and emotional aspects? How can we use our practice to be more mindful and connected?
One simple practice is to just listen. Tune into the sounds around you, the rustling leaves, the birds chirping, the waves crashing, or even the wind in the trees.
Just listening to those sounds makes me feel calm.
It's natural meditation. As you listen, really be present with those sounds. Notice the little variations in pitch, tone, rhythm.
So peaceful. What other ways can we use our senses?
Engage your sight. Take a moment to appreciate the beauty around you. Look at the colors, the shapes, the textures of everything. The trees, the flowers, the rocks, the sky, the way the light dances.
It's like we're seeing the world with new eyes.
Exactly. And don't forget about your sense of smell. Breathe in the fresh air, the scent of the trees and the earth. Notice how those scents make you feel.
Yeah. Scents can bring back memories.
They can. By using all of our senses, we're creating a more immersive experience. And it helps us connect more deeply with the present moment.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to enhance my practice. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to talk about giving back to nature.
That's a great thing to think about.
What are some ways that we can do that?
One of the most important things is leave no trace. Pack out everything you pack in. Stay on designated trails. Respect wildlife.
We're guests in nature's home.
Exactly. And we can do more than that. Pick up any trash you see, even if it's not yours. Plant a tree. Donate to an environmental organization. Choose eco-friendly yoga gear.
It's like our practice becomes an act of gratitude.
It can. And maybe the most powerful way to give back is to simply be present in nature. When we slow down, tune in, appreciate the beauty, we're cultivating a deeper connection.
And that connection can inspire us to make better choices.
Absolutely.
Wow, this deep dive has been an amazing journey. We've explored so much more than just the physical practice of yoga. We've talked about mindfulness, connection, and reciprocity with nature.
It's all connected.
To all of our listeners, we encourage you to share your outdoor yoga experiences with us. Let's build a community, inspire each other. Until next time, happy practicing.